The Chinese portable consoles that run classic video games have been popping up lately, and despite the fame of being cheap products, some of those models have reached high prices, something close to $80 or even $100. But that's not the case of this device that I'm reviewing today, the PowKiddy Q90. Compared to the more expensive ones, it loses in raw power but gains a lot in the cost-benefit ratio. Current price is around $40. The housing case is strongly inspired by the Switch Lite. The color of my unit is the same as that used by Nintendo. It's very light and all built in plastic, but it still feels good in the hand. I think it's not a bad material. It has USB Type-C input for charging, P2 for wired earphones, and has a volume wheel that is very pleasant to use. The package also includes a 16GB microSD card with the operating system and several games. The buttons deliver a soft feedback, although not fluffy, which is a good sign. It means that when you press them, you have a confidence that the commands have been registered. The top two triggers are different, both very shallow and clicky. They will work when pressed from the sides or from above. The plus and minus buttons are used for extra features, such as exiting the games and returning to the emulators, among others. Under the D-pad, there is a PSP-like analog stick that wasn't very useful to me. It feels excessively resistant and lacks precision. In addition, the games to be typically played on the Q90 will not require this type of command. An interesting aspect of this console is its removable battery at the rear. In my use, it had an autonomy of about 3.5 hours, which is only average. Still, it's great to be able to replace it at any time. It's a part that is widely used in classic Nokia phones and can be easily purchased on AliExpress. On the back, we also find the two stereo speakers. They have a considerable volume, but that is obviously not the best position for them to be. It was common for me to cover one or both of them with my fingers in some situations. I haven't talked about the screen yet, but it's certainly a highlight. It has 3 inches and IPS technology with good brightness and great viewing angles. The response times are more than satisfactory, since I don't remember seeing ghosts in the image or something alike. The operating system is a variation of Linux, which is all set up in tabs that give access to simple apps and of course the emulators. As I pointed out at the beginning, this is not a powerhouse of a device. It will be among the simpler ones, although it's still enough to run a lot of stuff. To summarize, here we go. Game Boys run perfectly, including Advance. Mega Drive and Master System also work without issues. Neo Geo gets a score of 8 out of 10, as it showed slowdowns in some titles, and the Super Nintendo performance is more controversial, as it showed problems in a good number of titles, including Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, and Donkey Kong Country 2. PlayStation runs with many limitations. First of all, its original controller includes 4 trigger buttons, and the Q90 brings only 2. In addition, almost all games required some software tweaking to run with some decency. Personally, I'd remove this console from the list. So if you wanna see the glass half full, I'll say that the Q90 is a super Game Boy, which still runs Mega Drive Master System among other platforms as little big extras. But if you want to see the glass half empty, well, it's a device that brings the common limitation of the entry-level ones. It will suffer with Super Nintendo and PlayStation. It's important to make it clear that it will be possible to change the operating system of this model. There are different options for custom firmwares out there, and they deliver noticeable performance improvements in heavy games. I'm just talking about performance out of the box here. What left me with a positive impression about this handheld is that, considering only the platforms that it runs well, I didn't notice common problems, such as the so-called screen tearing, cuts in the graphics that result from performance or optimization issues. In the end, I really like the PowKiddy Q90. Build quality is interesting, it runs a lot of games very well and won't cost that much. So if you manage to break it or lose it, at least the investment wasn't that high. I didn't know this manufacturer and I'm glad this happened. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to buy the product, check the link in the description. It leads to the store where I bought it from. Totally reliable. Don't forget to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. See you next time.